Center on the beautiful and snowy campus of Marshall University in Huntington. We have for you a showdown between the visiting Eagles of Georgia Southern and the homestanding Thundering Herd. Georgia Southern coming in 8-8 on the season, 1-3 in the Sun Belt, and Marshall here in Huntington, West Virginia at 9-8 and 2-2 on the season. Marshall playing its fourth and final game of a four-game homestand, trying to get to 3-1. Greetings from Huntington, along with former Herd standout Ott Elmore and our wonderful crew, Mark Martin. And we are delighted to have you here on ESPN+. Snowy outside, but we're rocking inside, Ott, ready for another big basketball game here in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, big crowd for the conditions. You know, they're fired up, glad to be here watching a little basketball. Big confidence-building win for Marshall on Thursday, so looking to build off that tonight. All
right, let's check out Ott's thoughts for this one as Marshall and Georgia Southern get together for the 17th time in program history for both.
Yeah, for Georgia Southern, it's getting that man going right there, Douglas. He's averaging 14 points per game on the year, only 10 points per game on the road. They've played 4 conference games. Their 1 win, he scored 30. Their 3 losses, he scored 11. Really got to get him going early, get him going often. And also, you got team rebound. In the 3 losses so far in conference play for Georgia Southern, been out-rebounded by 8, been out-rebounded by 3, been out-rebounded by 19. So lost to glass in every game that they've went down in conference play. For Marshall, spear him early, spear him often. Jalen Spears coming off a 7-for-7 3-point game last time out against James Madison. He's obviously still hot. Feed him the ball, let him get going, and see if he can't carry you. And then energy and effort. I just mentioned Georgia Southern in their losses. They struggle on the backboards. If you're Marshall, you have to know that going in. Pound them on the glass, win the rebounds, win the steals, win the blocks. If you win the hustle stats, you'll win this game and go to 3-2.
And I want to make a note right now that it was going to be my duty to read Ott's thoughts had you made a half-court shot here, and you were pretty close.
I was close, but Mark's thoughts don't have quite the same ring as Ott's thoughts, but I'm sure you would have done it just the same.
All right, we are ready to go here. Again, 17th meeting all-time between Marshall and Georgia Southern. Obina and Achille Killen not playing Ott for the Thundering Herd.
And I was just going to note that Wyatt Frick's getting the starting call for Obina. Obina's in street clothes with the air cast on his foot, so he's not going to be able to play tonight. Who steps up for Marshall? That's a lot of production, not just offensively, but defensively. Obina's the anchor, blocks a lot of shots. He cleans up a lot of mistakes from all the other guys. So who steps up and fills his role for this Herd team tonight?
Yeah, and Achille Killen went down, stepped on a foot, going up for a rebound of an opposing JMU player the other night. So he'll sit this one out. Nate Martin with the basketball. Here's Spear, goes back to Martin, and Martin goes up hard, and he lands on the floor.
And funny enough, Marshall has to get him going, especially with Obina out. That's a good start, hitting him on the roll, getting to the free throw line. You know, he's been struggling as of late. We continue to note that, but he's been off to quick starts in all 3 of the last games. He hit a 3 to start the last game against JMU. He scored the opening bucket against Texas State. So if you get him going early, hopefully you keep feeding him and see if he can't carry you and give you some of that production you're missing from Obina not playing tonight.
Nakavion White, a junior, committed the foul, and Martin goes to the free throw line. Averaging 9.5 a game, 52.2% from the free throw stripe. And cannot get either to drop there. So now Georgia Southern guided by second-year head man Charlie Henry. Nice pass inside. And Devontae Parker out of Columbia, South Carolina, averages 3.7 a game. And Parker puts it through for the first points of the game.
And that's a good job by Georgia Southern attacking inside. You realize Marshall's best interior defenders out of the game. What they do, they went straight for the basket. The shot blocking and presence of Obina is not there. So somebody's going to have to step up and make sure Georgia Southern's not just scoring in the paint at will.
Michael Dawson is open and cannot get that one to go. Here is Spear. How about that? 8 of 8 from the three-point line last 2 games.
Yeah, he made his last 8, and I think it's poor coaching when a guy goes 7 for 7 because you have to let him start jacking up shots until he misses, so it shouldn't be stuck on 7. You eventually have to get to a miss as a shooter. You just keep feeding him until he does, but ride the hot hand while you have it.
He now has 30 3-pointers on the season. A goaltending there on Wyatt Fricks. Give the basket to Aaron Banks, the 6'4 sophomore, top returning scorer for Georgia Southern, averaging 7.9 this season, 10.2 a year ago. And have a whistle and a foul here. Tony Jackson in his first season as the head coach of the Thundering Herd, where he starred as a point guard for 3 seasons.
If you're Georgia Southern, you can't let Jalen Spear get another look. You know, you face guard him, you get close to him, you just play man-to-man on him, and you don't have any help responsibility. Make somebody else beat him, except for Jalen Spear.
Zane Mingo goes to Nate Martin. Now here is Spear driving, and there is Martin. Puts it in. Martin, 23 season high against Bellarmine. Marshall on top by a count of 5-4. This is White. He negotiates and then dishes down low. Nice feed there to Parker.
And that's the Georgia Southerners, you know, made it their game plan, attack inside early. Marshall's got to figure that out. Georgia Southern scoring right at the basket. Marshall's going to have to find a way to come up with a defensive presence inside.
Well, Dawson fed it into Martin, and Martin was in all kinds of traffic. He got it back out to Dawson, and the Huntington native delivers his 45th 3 of the season. So Marshall's got a couple from behind the 3-point line already. 8-6 game. Here's Parker trying to bounce it, I believe, in the direction of Micah Smith. Goes out of bounds. Georgia Southern coming off a tough overtime loss to rival Georgia State. Charlie Henry, one of the youngest coaches in the country. Talk about youthful coaches. He's in that top 20 category.
And he's done a good job with this Georgia Southern program. You know, they have a lot of talent on the roster. Right now, it's all about putting it together for them and, you know, start trying to string some wins together.
Dawson averaging 12.9 a game, buries a second 3-pointer. Marshall coming in, hitting 29.5 from the 3-point line. Offensively, 75.2. They allow 71.7. Been some close games in this 4-game homestand. Now Holloman, a transfer from the University of Texas San Antonio, throws that one away. So into the contest for the Eagles. They will bring number 21, Tyson Brown, into the game. He's coming off a 14-rebound effort in that loss to rival Georgia State, and also checking in for this Georgia Southern squad, Eugene Ricks III. Here's a shot from the outside, and Wyatt Fricks. And it's going to be a great feeling for Fricks.
Right, he's a guy that fell out of the rotation, you know, the last handful of games, getting the start with Obina out, stepping right in, knocking his first one down. So you got to, that should build confidence for the young man.
All right, Marshall shooting it well from behind the 3-point line, and they have built an 8-point lead. Wyatt Fricks delivers from the corner. We return to the Cam Henderson Center in a moment. Thundering Herd and Eagles here in Huntington.
I'm an overpowered leaf blower, and I'm not exactly street legal. And if you don't have the right auto coverage, this could really blow your budget. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Asthma. Does it have you missing out on what you love with who you love? It's time to get back out there with Fasenra. Fasenra is an add-on treatment for eosinophilic asthma that is taken once every 8 weeks and can also be taken conveniently at home. Fasenra helps prevent asthma attacks. Most patients did not have an attack in the first year. Fasenra is proven to help you breathe better so you can get back to doing day-to-day activities. Fasenra is not for sudden breathing problems. Serious allergic reactions may occur. Get help for swelling of your face, mouth, tongue, or trouble breathing. Don't stop asthma treatments without talking with your doctor. Tell your doctor if your asthma worsens or you have a parasitic infection. Headache and sore throat may occur. Get back to better breathing. Get back to what you've missed. Ask your doctor about Fasenra, the only asthma treatment taken once every 8 weeks. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Welcome you back inside the Cam Henderson Center, along with Ott Elmore, Greg Crew, Mark Martin. Delighted to have you with us. Marshall leading the series with Georgia Southern 12-4. This is a venue in which Georgia Southern has never won. They are 0-8 here. First meeting all time won by the Thundering Herd 70-69. Talked earlier, we've had close games in this series. Marshall won over Texas State 77-71. The tough loss last week by 1 to Troy, and then the nail biter on Thursday night, the 2-point win over JMU.
Yeah, all the games on the homestand have been close. If you're Coach Jackson, you're hoping this one's probably not that close and you can get an easy win. One thing I want to note for Marshall, you're 4 for 6 from 3. 6 of your 7 shots have been from 3. Don't fall in love with the 3. You mentioned a while back only shooting about 30% from 3 on the year, so not a great 3-point shooting team. Although you're hitting early, don't forget about going inside and trying to get some easy ones.
Nice defense there by Nate Martin, taking it away. Mingo to Dawson. Dawson lets it fly. That hits the side of the iron, and the Eagles go back to work. Aaron Banks brings it across the timeline. Dashing to the hoop, and he traveled with it. Boy, Spear got in front of him and would not go away.
Yeah, Jalen did an excellent job moving his feet, got his hands up, got his chest in front of Banks, forced him to try to take an extra step. He did such a good job on defense, though. Banks realized he was going to get a shot blocked, then tried to, throw it away, but by that point he'd already taken too many steps and it was a walk.
Well, players to watch in this one, you had Jalen Spear for Marshall, of course, and the other was Bradley Douglas for Georgia Southern. So Douglas coming in, averaging 13.9 a game, and he has entered the contest here, along with Dante Horn, number 4. Horn played at Texas State, was not there when Nate Martin for Marshall was there. Foul called here.
I'd just like to note, my player of the game did hit his first shot. So
he did.
The kiss of death, the streak has been broken.
Eugene Brown, the third, committed the foul. Dezane Mingo will go to the line, and Mingo is up and in. Mingo, speaking of Texas State, had 23 to open up this 4-game homestand. He averages 10.9, hitting 67% from the line. Cade Gibbs has entered the game for the Thundering Herd. He's coming off a nice outing, Ott.
No, he had a great game against James Madison. When he came in about the 2-minute mark in the first half, his energy changed the whole complexion of that game. He hit a couple threes, had some big rebounds, played good defense, and gave the Herd some good minutes. And without his production, you probably weren't going to pull that game out.
Jacavian White, who averages 12 points a contest. Gibbs is in there for Nate Martin, and here's a dish that went in the direction of Gibbs, out of bounds. White will check out of the game. And Bray Thomas is into the contest. A little chat with Bray before the game here tonight. Late afternoon game. It'll be dark when we get finished with this one. Driving in, and Douglas can't get it to fall. Spear on the move.
And that's back-to-back defense possessions by Jalen Spear, where he's done a good job. Forced a turnover there, forced a miss on this possession. So he's moving his feet. He's doing a good job. You can see he's starting to move better. He looks more comfortable out there. I would say with that knee that bothered him early in the season, starting to get back to 100%.
De'Jay Horn trying to get it into the hands of Thomas and throws it away. Ryan Nutter will check into the lineup, and Michael Dawson will head out.
And that's got to be driving the Georgia Southern staff nuts. As you're 4 for 6 from the field, you're shooting it exceptionally well, except you have 5 turnovers. You can't, more than about half your possessions, you're just giving it back to Marshall, not getting a shot up. So Georgia Southern needs to do a better job taking care of the ball because they're being efficient, with their shooting when they are able to get a shot on the basket.
Nate Martin has returned to the court for the Thundering Herd. Fricks checks out. Fricks hit that big 3. Now Martin wanting to back in here and gets it to Gibbs. Nice save there by Gibbs. Mingo looking to penetrate, and good hands by the Eagles. Douglas comes up with it. Now here's Horn in the lane. Beautiful feed to Tyson Brown.
And great job by Horn. Got in there, drew the help side, dropped it off to the big man wide open for a layup. Marshall's going to have to rotate off the backside. You got help the helper. So when Nate or when one of the bigs goes over to meet that guard, you got to drop in, you got to bump back into their man so they don't get layups.
Brown and Douglas, by the way, played together at Florida Southwest State. They're going to have a foul called, and that will go against Nate Martin. That will be his first. Mingo heads to the bench for the Herd, and Dawson comes back in. Georgia Southern averages 73.9 a game and gives up just about 80.
And I mentioned coming out of the break, if you're Marshall, don't fall in love with a three-point shot. All they've shot is 3 since the break, and they're 0 for 3 from 3. So still only 1 2-point shot on this entire game. That's not who this Herd team's been all year. You got to start getting to the rim, attacking inside, and play inside out.
Marshall 4 of 9, and Georgia Southern 0 for 1 so far. Horn with the basketball, working against Spear, and Spear picks it up. Horn lost the handle. Spear to Nutter, and wouldn't go. Nice tap by Gibbs. He couldn't get it to fall. Martin had a chance, and then when it's all said and done, Spears with another three-pointer.
And that 3 was set up by Marshall attacking the rim. First, Nutter got in there. Then Kate Gibbs got the offensive rebound. Then Nate Martin got the offensive rebound. And then you found Jalen wide open for 3. The best time to shoot a 3 is either in transition or off offensive rebound. And there, Marshall dominated the glass, kicked it back out, got a good look at 3, and it went down.
Wood Douglas grinding there to get those 2 points. He has 2 30-point games this season. Had 31 against Gardner Webb on his birthday back on December 17th. Nate Martin. Still waiting for that birthday gift from you, by the way. I haven't brought it up.
You didn't get it?
I haven't brought it up in a while.
No, I dropped it off here at the women's game. I can't believe you didn't see it. Maybe Cotton stole it from you. I'll have to check with Cotton, see if he picked it up.
The great radio voice of the Thundering Herd, Steve Cotton. We got a break in the action here. 10:49 inside the Cam Henderson Center. Marshall on top of Georgia Southern by a count of 18-12. We return here on ESPN Plus in a moment.
Who says that business isn't personal? That what we do should be separate from who we are? At Encova Insurance, we do things differently.
My dad knew that one.
Our agents partner with small businesses to get to the heart of what matters. Because we're in the peace of mind business, and we take that very personally with auto, home, and business insurance. At Encova, we're ready for what's next.
Jack Brookfield.
Henry, second season as the head coach for Georgia Southern, and he's got an impressive resume. Young guy, and he's been in the G League. He's been an assistant at Alabama, worked with the Chicago Bulls. And last season, you're a first-year head coach, and you lose your first 12 games. But, boy, they really recovered nicely and got into the Sun Belt Conference and won a game.
Yeah, they responded nicely, and that's the mark of a good team, as you get better as the year goes on. And obviously you can't get worse than 0 for 12, but they steadily got better, started to win some games, won a game of the Sun Belt Conference tournament. He's got a good talent on his roster. It's just building. The team will grow as he grows in his head coaching experience. So look for big things from Georgia Southern in the years to come. He's a hot young coach in the profession right now.
To Madonna during his college years, located in Michigan. Nate Martin up with a shot in and out for the outstanding senior for the Thundering Herd. Now Georgia Southern will try to whittle into that 6-point Marshall lead. Horn has it, gets it to Bradley Douglas, and Douglas on the move. Get it into the hands now of Holloman, and he will fire from the corner, and Gibbs going up strong with the rebound. Outlet to Mingo, attacks, and Mingo puts it through. His first field goal of the game.
And it feels like each game Mingo just gets better and better. He's getting more comfortable being the lead guard for this Marshall team. He's a tremendous athlete. He's learning how to, pick his spots a little bit better. There you see he went at Brown, the Ohio State transfer, got right into his chest, finished with the left hand. Mingo's just, he's just growing and growing as the year goes on, and it's nice to see.
Eugene Brown, the third, heading out. Nutter is out for Marshall. Spear is back in. Colin Cool, number 14, 6'8" sophomore, has checked in for Georgia Southern. And Kavion White has re-entered the game. He has the basketball. Here's Douglas against Dawson, and Douglas will put it up and draw the foul.
And if you're Mike Dawson, that's bad defense, just scouting report defense. He's a strong right-hand driver. Force him left, force him to go to his offhand. There he was able to get right in his lane off 2 feet to his strong hand. That way he has his body in between the shot and Dawson. Dawson reached in, fouled, and Douglas gets to go to the line for 3.
Junior college All-American and went to Little Rock. And now playing for the Eagles. Our referees are Dan Powers, James Gibson, and Sidney Cohen. Nice to have those guys in the house here on this wintry late Saturday afternoon. Mingo attacking, and he will draw the foul. Cool will pick up the foul. It's a good name here in January, Cool.
It ain't cool. It's cold right now, Mark. I don't know about cool. We ain't seen cool in a while.
KUHL. Here's Mingo penetrating. Mingo knocks it through. Second trip to the free throw line. Corny Jackson, Oak Hill, West Virginia native, first season at the helm. Mingo smooth with his second, and so Mingo with an early 5 points here against Georgia Southern. Marshall with an 8-point advantage, stepping back, firing, and that one will be short for White. Nate Martin will run the floor here for the Thundering Herd.
And that was excellent defense on that last possession by Kay Gibbs. Moved his feet, forced a step-back jumper, and Marshall's able to capitalize on the other end, getting a wide-open 3.
Michael Dawson has knocked down 3 here in this first half of play. Kay Gibbs picking up the foul. And you saw Nate Martin, he would run the floor and Domingo, back to Martin, and then there is Michael Dawson, who has played basketball in Huntington at all levels, from his youth days to middle school to high school to prep league, and after spending the bulk of his career in Akron, comes back to Huntington for his final year of collegiate basketball. White at the line. Out of Odessa, Texas, who's ranked by many as top 5 best player coming out of junior college. It tells you a lot about that gentleman.
No, you mentioned Douglas was a junior college All-American. White, top 5. Brown, Ohio State transfer. Georgia Southern has a lot of talent on this roster. It's just about putting it together and, maximizing that talent.
Nate Martin working hard against Cole. Back out to Mingo. Mingo dashes to the bucket. A little too strong and into the hands of Douglas. Douglas races down the floor. May have gotten away with one there.
No may about it. Douglas walked and he did get away with one.
All right, and then Douglas rewards himself with another basket. He has 6 here in the game. Good save there by Dawson to Gibbs. Wyatt Fricks up off the bench, and Spear rifles and connects again. Jalen Spear.
And that's 10 threes in a row, Mark. If I'm that young man, I'm shooting at every single possession until I miss one.
And now he comes up with it. How about another? And
I guess he had the right idea there. You're as hot as he is. You just keep firing that thing.
The streak does come to an end, but wow, Jalen Spear, what a shooting performance over the past 2 games. And timeout here. Spear knocks it down. He's got 3. Dawson has 3 from behind the line. Marshall up 28-17.
Here you leave today and enter a world of...
Father, worlds!
For whatever you love, infinite worlds await.
Did you know that Geico's whole 15 minutes thing, that came from me? Really? My first idea was, in 1/4 of an hour, your savings will tower. Over you, figuratively speaking. But that's not catchy, is it? That's not going to swim about in your brain. So I thought, what about 15 minutes, 15%? Serendipity.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
With new McValue at McDonald's, you'll get more than you expect. All day, every day. Like a buy one, add one for $1 deal at everyone's favorite pit stop. Or when you've got to see the playoffs, get meal deals for the tailgate. And when you've got a few minutes before the bell to save on breakfast, get deals in the app. The choice is yours, and the choice with McValue is always more. Get more than you expect with new McValue at McDonald's.
It's League One volleyball. 6 teams, 6 cities, set it off.
Atlanta, Austin, Houston, Madison, Omaha, Salt Lake.
Exclusively on ESPN and ESPN+.
Tony Jackson huddled with his crew. And Coach Jackson 9-8 at the moment as a head coach. Served many seasons under the great Dan D'Antoni, associate head coach in the 2023-24 campaign a year ago, and getting his first stab at being a head coach. Started out with Brian Poore, who his early days of coaching was here at Marshall, longtime head coach at West Virginia State University. Great NCAA Division II program, former NAIA member. Foul going to be called here, and they will get, I believe, Micah Smith.
And that's going to be team 7th foul, so Kay Gibbs going to go to the line for 1-and-1. So Marshall, you know, you're making threes, you're 7 for 13, you're knocking it down, but realize you're in the bonus. Attack the basket strong, create contact, force the refs to call fouls, because for the last 8 minutes, as soon as you hear that whistle, you're going straight to the line for 1-and-1 or 2 shots.
Plainfield, Indiana, by way of Grace College. Kay Gibbs at the line. Of course, on the team with his brother Jacob. They are part of a set of triplets as Smith. He's holding his head, I believe.
And that adds insult to injury. You know, you pick up the foul, you're the one that got the worst end of that. But great job by Michael Dawson getting the, getting his hand on the ball, getting the foul. There was a couple games ago against, it was Troy, I believe. 2 first half free throws that were missed. He got possession back from Marshall. So, coaches going down the stretch of the season, if Michael Dawson's in there trying to rebound, offensive rebound on a free throw, you got to make sure you're telling him to box out, because he's going after it hard and he's getting extra possessions for his team.
Corny Jackson will huddle with his team.
And the refs came over. They're going to check for a potential flagrant foul. Anytime somebody comes up holding their head or face anymore, they go to check the monitor. So going to review for a potential flagrant foul, and we'll let you know what they find.
So at the moment, biggest lead of the game at 11. And Smith gets to his feet. Nice round of applause here. I'm going to look at it, Ott.
And it looks like he actually got kneed in the head by his teammate. A little friendly fire there. It looked like White may have, came down and kneed him in the head. But if you watch that replay, excellent job by Dawson being physical with the bigger guy. Sort of swam move, got around him, spun him down, got his hand on the ball, and as a result, Dawson's going to be the one shooting 2 free throws.
Dawson and Jalen Spear have combined for 18. And then Charlie Henry.
And if you're Coach Henry, you got to figure out a way to slow these 2 guys down. With Nate Martin struggling the way he has, Obina being hurt, it falls to Spears, Mingo, and Dawson to get them going. And right now, Dawson and Spears are killing them. So got to find a way, stay locked in on those guys. Can't give them open 3-point shots, because right now, everything they shoot's going in.
And Coach Henry making his way to Statesboro, very defensive-minded coach. Officials continue to look again. Our crew today: Dan Powers, James Gibson, and Sidney Cohen. We have a lot of good guys here officiating in Sunbelt. Always come by and keep us up to date, talk with us before the games, and it's always nice to chat with these guys. And like all of us, and certainly the officials, you got to battle the elements during basketball season many times to get to the game in which you are working.
Yeah, and the weather's been crazy, but these guys they've all been getting here, and they've all done a good job. JMU wasn't too happy with the officiating towards the end of that last game, but by and large, they've done a great job. They've reviewed the play, and they're going to stay at the common foul. So it'll be Mike Dawson shooting 1-and-1. They determined there was no flagrant activity. I think they saw what we saw. It's just a little bit of friendly fire, unfortunately, for the Georgia Southern players.
Dawson is hitting 85% of his free throws this season. Up and softly puts it through for Marshall's 29th point of the game. Dawson in double figures at the 7:47 mark with 11. Holloman darts to the bucket and can't get it to go. Gibbs snags the rebound. Spear to Fricks. Fricks with the big step. Wyatt Fricks with 5.
And it's awesome to see him get going a little bit. Knocked down the corner three to start the game there. Got an easy bucket in transition. You know, he could be a key for Marshall down the stretch. Get him some firepower off the bench. He's a big athletic guy, can shoot the ball. Ton of potential, ton of talent. It's just up to Coach Jackson to try to unlock that.
He had 15 points, 11 rebounds in season opening win over Davis and Elkins. Foul is going to be assessed to Fricks. That will be his first team foul, number 4. And heading to the line will be Nakavion White.
And White got away with a walk on that play. Again, the same official missed the fast break walk, but you know, you can't. Georgia Southern's happy for that and going to try to take advantage of that.
Well, they opened the Hill Convocation Center 4 games into this season. White gets the first.
And I think the fans are picking up on what I've been talking about. The gentleman behind me is yelling travel right into a foul now. So I guess I'm not the only one that's noticed these last couple of walks.
And with that Hill Convocation Center, see, it is a beautiful arena, an old Hanner Fieldhouse. They had to play 3 games there and then moved into the new home. Hofstra and UMass also had similar situations getting into new venues, but starting out in old arenas. All right, Marshall whipping it around here. Shot clock is at 3, and number 3, Mingo, drives in and puts it through for Marshall.
And if you're Coach Henry, you can't be happy with the defensive effort of your team so far. You know, Marshall's getting just about everything they want, getting wide open threes, wide open layups. If Georgia Southern wants to get a chance to get back in this game, they're going to have to start finding a way to get some stops.
Meanwhile, Douglas, he kind of breezed right down the middle of the lane to get a bucket there for the Eagles. And then nice dish from Spear, and Gibbs puts it through for his first basket of the game. Again, he's coming off that 17-point performance against JMU on Thursday night. Averages 4.8 a game. Holloman. Wyatt Fricks commits the foul, and Fricks has 2. He'll head out, and Nate Martin will come back in.
And if you're Marshall there on Holloman, if you're Fricks, don't reach in. Jose Mingo did a good job moving his feet. Holloman's a smaller guard. Let your guy just put his hands up and make Holloman finish over top of a little bit of size inside. Don't bail him out by fouling and reaching in.
Dante Horn gets it into the corner, and Eugene Brown III will nail the bucket there. His 26th three-pointer of the season. So we had Eddie Ricks III for JMU wearing number 3. Now we have Eugene Brown III wearing number 3 for Georgia Southern. And number 3 hit the 3. Marshall empty, but Georgia Southern can't capitalize. Hurd back with the basketball. Here's Nate Martin. Martin draws a crowd. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and that's something the coaching staff's going to have to work with him on. Is he's starting to get doubled on just about every catch, whether he's posting up. The last handful of games, these Sun Belt teams have seen him before. They know what he's capable of. So every time he gets the ball, he's getting double teamed. Coaching staff's going to have to start working with him on, like, hey, this is where we need to look when this happens and whatnot, just to get him a little more comfortable handling that situation.
Well, there is Obina and Achille Killen, 12.5 a game. Started all 17, but out today. 4 3-pointers this season, 70% free throw shooter, and tops in the league with block shots, 38. So not playing today. Nate Martin at the line and connects on the free throw. So Martin with 3 gets another one. Gentlemen's Quarterly had kind of gone by the wayside there with Nate's uniform, so straightening that up. And up, and Martin can't get the second one to go, and Eugene Brown the third, skies high again, the Ohio State transfer. White gets it out to Brown the third, and kind of just lost the handle, but got it back, gets it to his teammate White, and he knocks it down for about the same spot in which Brown hit one a moment ago.
Yeah, cut the deficit to 11. If you're Georgia Southern after the tough start, you found your footing offensively. You're shooting 65% from the field. If you cut out the 8 turnovers, you know they could be right in this game.
And Nate Martin for a second time in this game hitting the deck hard. Foul is going to be charged to Aaron Banks. That will be Banks' second. And so Martin will go back to the line. Cade Gibbs, Nate Martin, Jalen Spear, Michael Dawson, and Ryan Nutter in there for the Thundering Herd at the moment.
And you'll see Marshall did a good job hitting Nate late on the roll, 2 feet in the paint. Cowdick goes straight up, drew the foul. Unfortunately didn't knock the first one in, but gets another chance to get back on the board.
Kavion White, Aaron Banks out there for Georgia Southern. Tyson Brown, Eugene Brown the third, and Dante Horn. They make up the 5 on the court for head coach Charlie Henry's crew. Nutter thought about a 3 and will instead pull up for a 2. Can't get it to fall, and Brown goes up and he yanks it down. He averages 5.3 a game on the boards. Stepping back, launching and connecting is White. Back-to-back 3-pointers for White.
And don't look now, Georgia Southern's cut it to 8. You know, we have us a ball game. Marshall's got to get back to, you know, getting easy looks at the basket. You're in the double bonus, try attacking the rim, getting inside, and then got to lock back in on defense. Georgia Southern's really found a rhythm on you.
Jalen Spear in trouble, and I believe Gibbs got poked in the eye there. And here come the Eagles looking to carve more into that Thundering Herd advantage. Three-pointer won't go for Dante Horn. Marshall goes back to work offensively. Down low.
He's inside the circle.
Foul called. And I believe going to go against Gibbs. So an offensive foul as we hit a timeout here on the Cam Henderson Center floor. From the corner, Georgia Southern getting the threes. White with a 3. And it's a 37-29 advantage for Marshall. Back in a moment.
Who says that business isn't personal? That what we do should be separate from who we are? At Encova Insurance, we do things differently.
My dad made that one.
Our agents partner with small businesses to get to the heart of what matters. Because we're in the peace of mind business, and we take that very personally with auto, home, and business insurance. At Encova, we're ready for what's next.
Jack Field.
First time since 1997. Marshall
Sunbelt Conference basketball here on ESPN Plus. We are delighted to have you with us here on a late Saturday afternoon in snowy Huntington, West Virginia. The Cam Henderson Center, home of Thundering Herd men's and women's basketball. And it's a battle between the Eagles of Georgia Southern and the Thundering Herd of Marshall. 17th meeting all time between the two. Big opportunity here, Odd Elmore, for the Eagles. And they cash in as Holloman drives strong to the bucket and scores it.
And if you're Coach Jackson, you can't be pleased. Guard dribbles right down the court. No real offensive set, just dribbles straight down, straight into a layup.
Horn working. Dawson comes away with it for Marshall. Dawson to Mingo. Now here's Nate Martin. He'll go right down the middle of the lane and put it through and draw the contact.
And that was an excellent job of Nate running the floor. You know, as a big guy, if you run the floor, a lot of times you'll get rewarded. He just outran his man coast to coast. Marshall was able to find him cutting down the middle, get it into him, and Holloman had no choice but to try to foul him and stop it. But unfortunately, Nate was too big, too strong. We'll get a three-point opportunity here.
Holloman's first personal. Now Martin continuing to struggle from the free throw line. He's now 1 of 7 here. Marshall is 6 of 15.
Yeah, and this funk's just been mental for Nate. You know, he's a guy that shot almost 70% from the free throw line last year. You know, this year he's shooting sub 50, so he'll get out of it. It's going to take a couple games, you know, find a rhythm, find some confidence. But once he does, I expect him to bust out in a big way.
Well, speaking of confidence, Holloman with another basket. Holloman playing in just his 9th game. Dealt with an injury, and here's Mingo dashing and scoring. Mingo with 9.
This is my type of game, Mark. Defense optional. You know, everybody's out here getting their own on offense.
Holloman driving, can't get that one to go down. And Nate Martin pulls down the rebound. He came in averaging 7.6. Dawson with the big step, and Nate Martin there with the nice putback for the Thundering Herd. 10-point Marshall advantage. And Douglas working down low, getting it into the hands of Brown. And a foul going to be called. And well, maybe no foul. Actually, just out of bounds.
Yeah, I believe it just, he said it was out of bounds off the body of the Marshall player.
The reaction of Michael Dawson.
Yeah, he was not pleased. I think he thinks it was their ball.
Right, Holloman wheels around. Holloman, one-hander, won't go. Martin snags the miss. He'll run the floor, and Martin may go coast to coast. Couldn't get it to drop. Whistle and a foul. And it's going to go against Eugene Brown III, his second.
And Coach Henry's not pleased with that late whistle. Looks like he may have got a little bit of a tripping there or not. I don't know, but fortunately, if you're Nate Martin, they called it. You could go back to the line. Unfortunately, you're 1 for 7 here, but maybe you can get going, knock these two down, and you find a rhythm here.
Shot up and good for Martin. It's his second free throw. Eric Harding, the 6'10 freshman out of Charlotte, is going to come in for the Thundering Herd. And Kavion White back in for Georgia Southern as Eugene Brown III heads out. And he started his career at Ohio State Buckeye football with the big win last night to make it into the College Football Playoff National Championship. So Martin will go back to the bench.
And this is a good sub by Coach Jackson. You know, 1 minute to go, you're up 12. Nate's already got one foul. You're down a big and Obina. Get him out. Don't let him get a second foul. Don't keep him out of foul trouble for as long as possible. And go to your freshman big to see if he can't, you know, give you some positive minutes.
Good job there by Brown. Off the miss, laying it in. So we go under a minute here to play in this first half of action. Marshall with the lead of 10. Jacob Gibbs in the game, and here's Harding. Turnaround shot won't go. Dawson flying in there. He couldn't snag it.
And you got to like the confidence from the freshman. Hasn't played in a couple games. First touch, 15-foot turnaround jumper. So you like to see that type of confidence. He came in firing, ready to play. He got his shot, trying to make the most of it.
Big scoop there by White. You know, he hits the deck hard, and he is holding, I believe, his right knee. Kavion White. Now he's up. I mean, they talk about, you know, football being a tough game and the collisions, but I'm telling you what now, you're hitting this wood, and you know you had a few rug burns in your day, didn't you?
Yeah, but I tell you what makes it feel better, sort of what White showed there, is when you got 2 free throws waiting on the other end of it, it's a little easier to pop up. I don't care how hard you hit. And you know, he looked like he got shot for a minute, but as soon as they said 2 shots, you know, he popped up right to the line, and that's good to see.
Didn't get the first free throw to drop through.
And you see the foul on Harding just come over late. It looked like he did land on White's leg. But good minutes from the freshman. You know, you gave a couple defense possessions, made sure Nate didn't pick up his second foul. Now, you know, Marshall's going to hold for 1 shot with just a point, a tenth of a second difference between the game clock and shot clock. So get Nate back in for the offense possession, and then see if you can't get a bucket going into halftime and get a little momentum going to the second half.
Nate Brawford has checked in for Georgia Southern. So Marshall with Mingo, Spear, Dawson, Fricks, and Martin. And to add to the 10-point lead, Mingo lost his footing. Good recovery. And lost the basketball, and letting it fly is Banks, trying to bank it in. JMU hit a runner in Marshall's last game at the buzzer. Banks unable to do so. Marshall heading to the locker room with a 10-point advantage over the Crew from Statesboro, Georgia. We will return to the Cam Henderson Center. Halftime coverage coming up here on ESPN. Plus, you're watching Sun Belt Conference basketball.
I've travelled all over the country talking about saving with Geico. But that's the important bit, isn't it? Showing up, saying, hello, fancy a nice chat. And then we talk like 2 old friends about sticky buns and all the savings you could get by bundling your home and car insurance. But here's the real secret. Eye contact. Do you feel that? We just had a moment. Who'd have thought it?
Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance.
With new McValue at McDonald's, you'll get more than you expect. All day, every day. Like a buy one, add one for $1 deal at everyone's favorite pit stop. Or when you've got to see the playoffs, get meal deals for the tailgate. And when you've got a few minutes before the bell to save on breakfast, get deals in the app. The choice is yours, and the choice with McValue is always more. get more than you expect with new McValue at McDonald's.
Asthma. Does it have you missing out on what you love with who you love? It's time to get back out there with Fasenra. Fasenra is an add-on treatment for eosinophilic asthma that is taken once every 8 weeks and can also be taken conveniently at home. Fasenra helps prevent asthma attacks. Most patients did not have an attack in the first year. Fasenra is proven to help you breathe better so you can get back to doing day-to-day activities. Fasenra is not for sudden breathing problems. Serious allergic reactions may occur. Get help for swelling of your face, mouth, tongue, or trouble breathing. Don't stop asthma treatments without talking with your doctor. Tell your doctor if your asthma worsens or you have a parasitic infection. Headache and sore throat may occur. Get back to better breathing. Get back to what you've missed. Ask your doctor about Fasenra, the only asthma treatment taken once every 8 weeks. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
17th meeting all time between the Marshall University Thundering Herd and the Georgia Southern University Eagles, and it's a 10-point advantage at the half. 45-35 for Marshall. Marshall coming in with a record of 9-8, 2-1 in Sun Belt Conference action. 9-2 at home this season, so all the victories have been in this friendly venue for the Thundering Herd program. Georgia Southern in at 8-8, 1-3 in conference play, and 1-6 on the road. Some youngsters out there getting on the big court here at halftime. So the college basketball season moving on here. And of course, it's been a great season for Tennessee. Did suffer a loss earlier in the season. Bruce Pearl's Auburn team off to a great start. You know, some of the teams you would expect in that top 10.
Yeah, perennial powers like Duke, you know, Alabama, Kentucky, you know, even Tennessee and Auburn. You know, it's a latent SEC laden heavy top 10. You know, that's been the best basketball league in the country so far, and it shows in the top 10 poll.
UConn, of course, trying to get another title this season. Alabama, place where Charlie Henry spent time. He spent 2 stints with Nate Oates, and the first was as a high school coach.
Yeah, and the Arkansas State head coach was also on that staff a couple years ago when Alabama received the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. So Nate Oates' coaching trees, you know, making its way across the country.
And of course, Marshall has a little of that flavor with Kai Spears on the team. He was a part of the Final Four team a year ago. Kansas, Houston, Illinois, Mississippi State, Oregon, Michigan State, Oklahoma State, Gonzaga, Memphis, Purdue. Again, teams have played this week and here on this Saturday, so things will kind of play themselves out today, and games tomorrow, and then we'll see, get a new top 25 as the week begins. Mountaineers of West Virginia playing in Boulder, Colorado tomorrow. UCLA, Ole Miss, Michigan, and Utah State rounding it out. Well, this first half here finds Marshall on top by a 45-35 advantage here at halftime. And the teams in their respective locker rooms chatting it up as Marshall tries to secure that third Sun Belt Conference victory at 2-2. And again, Georgia Southern coming in at 1-3. We will return to the Cam Henderson Center. More halftime coverage coming up. Marshall and Georgia Southern here on ESPN+.
Spoons, they're out. Panera's new ciabatta dippers are in. Each melty sandwich paired with a perfect portion of soup is made to dip. Go for the French dipper or spicy chicken dipper. No spoon necessary when your sandwich is built to do the dipping. Only at Panera for a limited time.
And we're back in third quarter planning. Adams is quarterbacking this project, and she is looking pretty tired, Jill.
She's stuck, Bill, and that deadline is looming.
It looms for us all, Jill.
Wait a minute. She just pulled up Grammarly.
Grammarly is an AI writing partner that helps you make your point.
She just asked Grammarly to help her write a summary of her doc, and she's shortening it. Look at that. She's done. And it's in! It's in! It's a touchdown! Download Grammarly for free.
You told Mom to send her prescription to Amazon Pharmacy. She didn't. Now you're stuck behind this guy, as he uses the pharmacy line to purchase half the store, including a ceramic dolphin figurine, without a price.
Price check in pharmacy.
All Mom had to do was use Amazon Pharmacy, and her meds would get delivered right to her door.
Okay, I'll only be gone a couple days, Rumi.
Yay.
I put all the important contact info on the fridge.
That's all USAA.
So you can enjoy that sweet, sweet USAA service while I'm gone.
I know how to get in touch with USAA. I can file a claim or chat right in the app.
Good idea. I should add that.
USAA, auto, home, life, and bank.
This is a hot flash. This is a hot flash. But this is a not flash. For moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms due to menopause, Veoza is the first and only prescription treatment that directly blocks the source of hot flashes and night sweats. With 100% hormone-free Veoza, you can have fewer hot flashes and more not flashes. Veoza reduces the number and severity of hot flashes day and night. Don't use Veoza if you have cirrhosis, severe kidney problems, kidney failure, or take CYP1A2 inhibitors. Increased liver blood test values and liver problems may occur. Your doctor will do blood tests before and during treatment. Stop Veoza and call your doctor if you have symptoms of liver problems such as feeling more tired than usual, nausea, vomiting, itching, yellowing of the eyes or skin, pale stool, dark urine, or stomach pain. Ask your doctor about hormone-free Veoza and enjoy more not flashes. You could save on Veoza. Visit saveonveoza.com to learn more.
The Australian Open hits different on the networks of ESPN.
Marshall and Georgia Southern, we are at halftime here on ESPN Plus inside the Cam Henderson Center, snowy Huntington, West Virginia, on the campus of Marshall University, and the Thundering Herd leading it here at the break by a count of 45-35. Again, Marshall coming in 9-8 on the season. You know, they'd love to get to 2 games above that 500 mark, and they are 2-2 in the Sun Belt. And here are the standings. And South Alabama off to a great start.
Yeah, but if you're Marshall, you see, you know, you're bottom 7 right now, but a win here puts you right there, you know, in 4th place. So, you know, a lot of teams 2-2 and that, you know, in the thick of things in the Sun Belt Conference. So win this game, you've won 3 of the 4 at home. Got to feel pretty good about it. You know, realistically, you should be 4-0 at home. You gave away the Troy game where you're up, I think, 18 in the second half. So, but, you know, all things aside, 3-2, you're 4th in the conference. Then you go on the road, and then that's where you got to find a way to win. You've taken care of your business at home, sans the Troy game this year. So find a way to win a couple on the road and, you know, put yourself right in the thick of things for this Sun Belt regular season race.
And it gets interesting on the road for the Thundering Herd because this coming Thursday, they're going to play that JMU team that they just defeated here 2 nights ago. They'll have Coastal Carolina, they'll have Georgia State, and they'll have this Georgia Southern team again on the 25th. So Marshall won't be back here until the 30th. Here are some numbers from this Saturday of college basketball. Appalachian State over James Madison, 86-66 there in Boone. Southern Miss picks up a win over Texas State. Troy and Arkansas State battling there. Old Dominion gives South Alabama that first loss as we just get that update. And Old Dominion has given South Alabama its first loss in Sun Belt play. And Coastal and Georgia State, who's coming off the overtime win against this Georgia Southern team, they trail Coastal Carolina 44-31 ULM, and the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana will get together later on this Saturday.
And that loss for South Alabama makes it even more important to win this game. You win this game, you go to 3-2. They're leading the conference at 3-1. You know, you're 1 game back in the loss column, and you're right there in it.
All right, both teams have come back out onto the floor. We'll come back, look at some first half stats and highlights. You're watching Sun Belt Conference men's basketball on ESPN+.
Football fans know the biggest game of the year isn't really about the game, it's about the snacks.
Oh, man, chili!
At ESPN, we snack on Sundays like it's our job. Except Orlovsky. He's got some strange food takes, but that's okay. More snacks for us.
He's got it! Wow! End zone touchdown, what a play! Yeah, baby! Yeah! With so much on the line.
For the love of football, derbies, ultras and Humba, and every match on ESPN+.
Nothing like in the Bundesliga.
For the love of braces and hat-tricks,
With a belter!
belters and wonder goals,
Oh, that's a wonder goal!
number 9s and the Torschützenkönig. For the love of the Invincibles,
Leverkusen, unbeaten champions.
for the love of Bundesliga, exclusively on ESPN+.
The Australian Open hits different on the networks of ESPN.
Hey, college basketball fans.
Andrea Carter here
Jay Billis here.
to remind you that your favorite teams and conferences
Are on ESPN Plus.
If you love college basketball like me and the Bill Illustrator,
Then it's time to get in the game and sign up to ESPN Plus,
you get a stellar slate of in-conference games
including the Big 12, Atlantic 10, and many more.
that will feel like March.
We got to go to work.
Sign up now and catch your favorite teams.
I walk the walk, yeah. I talk the talk. I play the part, right. I do it all. Set, yeah. White. You know the name, I got the game. Rolling this world in my legacy. Bling bling, my chain. I reign with my energy.
The Australian Open hits different on the networks of ESPN.
This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. Wow!
This is star power from the jump. The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
Islam Makhachev! What is it going to take to stop this guy? Arman Tsarukyan, very much a problem. It all goes down live on pay-per-view.
Just about set for second half action here inside the Cam Henderson Center, along with Ott Elmore and our great crew, Mark Martin. Glad to have you with us here on ESPN Plus for Sunbelt Conference basketball. Our first half stats presented by University Ford. What jumps out at you, Ott?
Both teams are shooting the ball extremely well. Both teams shooting over 50% from the field. Marshall shooting exactly 50% from three. So, Georgia Southern's only shooting 42%. And not often you shoot 52% from the field, 42% from three, and you're down 10 at half. So both teams, whichever team can lock in on the defensive end and start getting some stops, I look to see, have a lot of success in this second half because, so far through this game, not a whole lot of defense has been played.
Michael Dawson led the way for Marshall with 11. Nate Martin, Zane Mingo, and Jalen Spear all with 9 points in that first half. Dawson and Spear, they were terrific from behind the three-point line. Kavion White leading the way for Georgia Southern in double figures with 10. Bradley Douglas had 8. Georgia Southern bench points 15-2 edge, and they came in here with an impressive 31.87 with bench points, 24th in the country. And to get a bucket there from White to start this second half of action. So White now with 12. Trims the deficit to single digits. Zane Mingo. Nate Martin, and Banks knocks it away. So Nate Martin, Wyatt Fricks, Michael Dawson, to Zane Mingo and Jalen Spear out there on the floor for Marshall to begin this second half of play. Eugene Brown III, Nakavion White, Tyson Brown, Dante Holloman, and Aaron Banks. Those are the 5 on the floor to begin things for Charlie Henry's team. And Marshall can't get a shot away. Good defense there by the Eagles. Spear will come out, and Ryan Nutter going to check in for Marshall.
And that's a bad sign for Marshall's. Jalen Spear looks like he, aggravated something in his leg. Quick sub, Ryan Nutter right in for him. So that's been Marshall's guiding force on offense the last 2 games. That's a big loss if he can't come back, especially since you're already down Obina.
Straight away, Brown III can't get it to fall. The Ohio State transfer. Marshall back to work here. Again, Marshall playing without Obina and Achille Killen, injured in the win over James Madison on Thursday. Mingo on the move, banks it in, and draws the foul.
And that's a good job by Zane Mingo. He got the ball to his strong hand, got going right, drew the body contact. And what's so good about what he does is he takes the contact, but he keeps his eyes on the rim, and he always gets a good shot off after the contact. You'll see right here, boom, takes the contact, but he's still looking at the basket, gets one nice soft touch off the glass. Now he's got a chance for a 3-point play.
And I love playing the name game with you. He banks it in, and he was fouled by Banks.
There you go, Mark.
Try to keep you on your toes.
Hey, can't get nothing by you, that's for sure. I know that.
All right, Banks has the basketball. Marshall up 11 following the 3-point play there by Mingo, who now has 12 in the game. Holloman showing off the handles there, and somehow that goes in.
No, good move by Holloman. He's a littler guy, but drew the contact, still got the shot up, and was able to get the fall.
Holloman now has 6 in the game. Again, he's returning after being out a good chunk of this season. Ryan Nutter to Nate Martin. And Nutter driving, draws contact. Shot would not go down, though.
And Coach Jackson, it looks like he's, the message at halftime was attack the rim. First 2-3 possessions of the second half, Marshall's attacking the rim, getting inside. So he's probably told the guys, hey, don't fall in love with the 3-point shot. It's good that we're hitting it, but hey, let's get it in the course of our offense. Let's play inside out. And that's what Marshall's done so far this half.
Ryan Nutter. Corny Jackson said before the season started, Nutter has got to bring toughness, and boy, he has.
If there's anything Ryan brings, it's toughness. He's always the first one on the floor. If there's a charge taken, it's probably him that took it. He pounds the other team's best player 94 feet. So that's what he does. He's out here being tough and plays hard. And he's a guy you hate playing against and like having on your squad.
74% free throw shooter. He made 1 of 2. It's his first point of the game. Brown the third, and Banks finding the opening. Banks has 4 in the game. 8-point Thundering Herd lead.
And that was just a mental breakdown by Zane Mingo. Just lost his man. Got caught watching the basketball. His man back cut. And Georgia Southern was able to take advantage.
Nate Martin then goes to work for the Thundering Herd. Martin now with 11 in the contest. And from the outside, Banks can't get the shot to fall. Marshall back on the offensive end. And there is Dawson. And boy, if you are Charlie Henry, you're saying we don't want to see that guy get started again.
And if you're Charlie Henry, you got to think about doing something different defensively. Marshall's almost just dry running offense or getting what they want. You're giving up 54 points early here in the second half. You're not getting any stops, so maybe go to a zone, do something a little bit different, just try to break Marshall's rhythm.
Entering the game for Georgia Southern is Cool. Ryan Nutter committed the foul. That is his first of the game. Blocked by Nate Martin. Martin came in with 18 blocks and a whistle as Marshall owns a 13-point lead. Charlie Henry getting Dante Horn up off the bench, and also Bradley Douglas. And let's see who will head out. Eugene Brown III and Aaron Banks checking out. Zane Mingo will be the trigger here for Marshall.
Another foul on Georgia Southern, and that's going to be something to watch here early in this half. Is Marshall got in the bonus with 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. Georgia Southern already has 14 fouls, just 3 minutes, 30 seconds into this second half.
Cole just picked up his third foul. So got back in the game. Here's Fricks open, and he will fire. Can't get it to go. Nutter tapped it down the floor, and a chase for the ball. And Nate Martin and Holloman collide. And they'll hit Nate Martin with the foul. That's number 2 on Nate Martin.
And if you're Coach Jackson, you don't like the foul, but you like the effort. Nate was second to the ball, but that didn't stop. He still dove, trying to get it. Unfortunately, went through the legs of Holloman, pick up the foul. That's the type of energy and effort you want to see from your guys. Just, laying it all on the line, playing all out, and, it's paid off for them so far this game as you're up 13 points. So continue to play hard and do the right things, and you tend to get rewarded for that. Douglas.
Started there by Nate Martin. Douglas penetrates and goes from left to right, and a couple of stabs at it there, but could not get the ball to go through the basket. Marshall working with his 13-point lead. Nutter baseline drive, and nice block there by White. Now the largest lead of the game has been 16 at the moment, 13. And we take a break here in Huntington. Thundering Herd and Georgia Southern Sun Belt Conference basketball.
Who says that business isn't personal? That what we do should be separate from who we are? At Encova Insurance, we do things differently.
My dad knew that one.
Our agents partner with small businesses to get to the heart of what matters. Because we're in the peace of mind business, and we take that very personally with auto, home, and business insurance. At Encova, we're ready for what's next.
Ladies and gentlemen, the power of a word. The anticipation, the adrenaline, the hair on the back of their necks rising. The crowd, the score rising, greatness rising, the sun rising. Sometimes a word is best left all by itself. The Sun Belt Conference, 14 universities, 10 states, rising.
We welcome you back inside the Cam Henderson Center. Help people affected by the California wildfires in 2025. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. We just never realized your blessings until you see situations such as that, Hawk.
No, awful stuff going on out in California right now. You know, just prayers to everybody affected by all of that.
And then Nate Martin tied up there by Douglas. Possession arrow stays with the Thundering Herd. I tease Nate a lot. You know, his grandfather's name is Mark. Mark Martin.
I know one of those.
All right, here's Dawson. And they're real proud of Nate and his accomplishments. Mingo lets it fly, and that will not drop. Marshall had to force that one up, and Mingo couldn't get it to connect.
And that's the second shot clock violation of the half for Marshall. I think they've made a concerted effort to try to slow this game down a little bit. You know, especially being shorthanded with Abina out now. Jalen Spears dealing with whatever he's dealing with on the sideline is shorten this game. You got a 13-point lead. Play solid defense. Make them work on defense. Don't turn it into a track meet where, you know, something crazy could happen.
White was maneuvering like crazy and then finally gives it up to Brown, who scores. Brown has 6 in the game. Well, the Eagles are shooting 53% from the field. Marshall 50%. Here's Nutter negotiating. Lets it fly to Dawson. Mingo all open and drills it.
And it's just great offense for Marshall. You're ending up with wide open looks at the basket. You're either getting layups or wide open threes. That's how you shoot almost 50% from 3 and over 50% from the field.
Here's White again. White's a battler, isn't he?
Yeah, he's scored a couple inside on Fricks and gave the 2 small sign. So see if White can't chest up a little bit and keep him out of there this next possession.
White has 14 in the game. Zane Mingo finds Nutter. Nutter just wants to keep going at it and does and scores. .59-45, Dante Horn. Fights there with Fricks. Ball is loose. Dawson scoops it up. Goes to Mingo. Mingo to Nutter, and Nutter lost his footing, and it goes into the hands of Brown. Eagles back the other way. Douglas will pull up, and his shot in and out. Tough break there for the terrific Bradley Douglas. There's again 2 30-point efforts this season. Jalen Spear getting set to check back in for Marshall, so that's a good sign for Corny Jackson's crew, along with Cade Gibbs. Meanwhile, Nate Martin to Ryan Nutter. Nutter in trouble, and Nutter got fouled. Dante Horn picking up his first foul. So Martin and Nutter head out, and again Spear and Cade Gibbs are back in. Corny Jackson said, you know, the Gibbs brothers said, saw those guys on film. Of course, they'd played at Grace College, had outstanding careers, you know, both individually and with the team. They were 64-6 the last 2 years. Great NAI program. Mingo, a little short there. Here comes Douglas for the Eagles. Georgia Southern's basketball program, 3 NCAA appearances, but it has been a while. 1992.
And good job there by Douglas. You know, originally pulled it back out, got the matchup he wanted on the perimeter with Jalen Spear guarding him. Able to, you know, attack the paint, you know, get close to the basket, draw the little foul, a little too physical by Spear, and get to the line and get 2 free throws.
Douglas with 8 in the game, make it 9. Just a free throw attempt in the first half, nails that one. Tyson Brown will head out, and Eugene Brown III will come back in. Tyson Brown started his career at Rhode Island. Here's Douglas, up and in. Douglas in double figures now with 10. Second double-figure scorer. White at the moment on the bench with 14. Mingo has 15 in the game. And here's Dawson, and Dawson, who has 14, and make it 16 for Dawson. 61-47. Aaron Banks into the hands of Brawford, who is back in the game. Nice shot there by Dante Horn.
And Mike Dawson, you know, tapping his chest, telling Coach Jackson, that's my bad. He gambled for the steal, and Bradford got Marshall, you know, out of position there on that defense possession and ended up leading to a Georgia Southern 3. So if you're Marshall, just play sound, fundamental defense. You don't have to gamble for steals at this point. You're up double digits. Just play good, solid defense and try to get out here with a win.
It's Horn's first basket of the game. It is his 15th three-pointer of the season. The Eagles are 4 of 11 from behind the three-point line. So a chance here to cut it to single digits as Douglas drives in and draws the foul. Jalen Spear picks up his second. Tony Jackson had a little chat there. Here is,
yeah, Douglas's last 2 foul calls haven't been fouls.
Well, we have a break in the action here at the Cam Henderson Center. Marshall leads it by 11 over Georgia Southern. We welcome you back live inside the Cam Henderson Center. Marshall and Georgia Southern battling it out here. Marshall in at 9-8, 2-2 in the Sun Belt Conference, and Georgia Southern 8-8 on the season, 1-3 in Sun Belt play. So Marshall and Old Dominion women's basketball today. Billy Folks' crew losing a tough one to the Monarchs, 80-75. Douglas at the line. Well, after missing his first free throw in the opening half, Douglas has nailed 4 straight free throws. Those are his points in the second half. He has 12 for the game. 61-52 as Georgia Southern closes it to single digits, and a foul going to be called here on Adante Holloman.
Mark, it wouldn't be a Marshall broadcast if I didn't bring up the Southern Indiana game. And with Georgia Southern now having 16 fouls with 11:15 to go, we might have a throwback.
Marshall fired up 50 free throws in that game. They missed 20. Skip pass to Dawson. Dawson looking for Martin. All loose, and just unable to control it. There was Crawford, and then Dawson is fouled. Holloman pleading his case.
And I think that was all ball, but that referee missed 2 calls on the other end, so I guess it was time to miss 1 for Marshall's favor. And you'll see Holloman did come through, just deflect the ball, but I think that's what they call a makeup call, Mark.
Well, that'll put Dawson at the line. He's made 2 today, both attempts, and boy, he's been on fire from the 3-point line.
Yeah, that's 3 for 3. You didn't jinx him.
You love to remind me of that, don't you?
Can I give you something? You're too good at everything else.
All right, here's Dawson again, and he's got both. So Dawson having another terrific game on.
Yeah, he's played excellent. The first stretch of the year was rough, but ever since he's got going, man, he's really been going. And, now he's got Jalen Spear coming along with him, and now Marshall has, to go along with Mingo's improved play as the year continues to unfold. So Marshall's got a pretty good 3-headed animal at a guard for them.
Douglas losing control of his dribble there. Here comes Dawson down the floor. Get it to Gibbs, and Gibbs to the hoop. Boy, had clear sailing and just couldn't get it to drop. Now Spears will rifle. He can't get it to fall through. And then Mingo to Martin. And he slams it through. 13 in the game for Nate Martin, and Marshall by 13. Crawford to Holloman. And Holloman, a little bit of a nifty move, but took a few too many steps there for Adante Holloman.
And the Marshall crowd giving a little bit of a Bronx cheer for the referee for finally calling the travel. There had been a few that got by, but finally, they were able to get one on Holloman, and the Marshall crowd sure appreciated it.
Aaron Banks is back in for Charlie Henry's crew. Dante Horn will head out. Holloman, the #1 prospect out of Oklahoma. He was in high school, really fits the system that Charlie Henry loves to play. Spear. Mingo penetrates and delivered it at the last second to Martin. Ball out of bounds. It will stay with Marshall. Under 10 to go here inside the Cam Henderson Center. Dawson steps back, trying to drain another, but that one was short. I'm going to say,
I think they're going to say the shot was tipped. I can tell you it was right in front of us, Mark. I don't believe that ball got tipped.
I'm going to get everyone set here.
We'll see here. Yeah, I don't believe it was, and I guess ball doesn't lie. Ball got thrown right back to Georgia Southern.
Yeah, nonetheless, the Eagles get the basketball back, but then a huge dunk, huge block there.
Good help side defense by Mikael Dawson coming over, getting up, blocking the shot. You'll see here, came over, got it the inside hand. Good block, and lets Marshall reset their defense.
And Dawson, very strong body, 6'5", 222. White going in, couldn't get the shot to drop, but he will draw the foul. Kate Gibbs now has 3 on him, and Marshall has 5 team fouls. Good look there at Kate Gibbs. These Gibbs brothers are just nice young men, and so the triplets brother Daryl in Notre Dame Law School.
And you'll see White just created all that contact and looked like Gibbs played pretty solid defense, but referees, blowing the whistle here tonight, and that's the adjustment, defensively you're going to have to make is you can't, don't make any bite contact, don't make any contact, or else you're going to call for a foul tonight. So both teams are going to have to adjust to the tight whistle.
White leads the Eagles in scoring. He now has 16, and at the free throw line, 2 of 3, or make that 4 of 8. 2 of 3 from the three-point line. 65-54. Douglas driving, Martin blocking. Kate Gibbs will head out, and checking in will be Wyatt Fricks.
And great hustle by Nate Martin. He thought he got fouled in the other end. He could have, complained to the referee. He didn't. He sprinted straight back, got back on defense, able to block the shot. Mingo was able to force the shot over top of him, and Martin did a good job coming across and blocking it.
From the outside, Douglas can't get it to fall. Martin corrals the missed shot and asks for help, and so Marshall now in the front court with it.
Look for Marshall. Oh, go ahead, Mark. Look for Marshall to go ahead and take some time off this shot clock. Really run your offense and get something like that. Run your offense until you get a really good high percentage look and try to salt this game away.
15 now in the game for Martin. You were just about to draw it all up there, my man, and Martin and those guys converted. Now here's Douglas, and that shot won't go. Mingo driving, dumping, Fricks dunking.
And you don't get much more high percentage than these last two looks Marshall's gotten. And it's good to see, a lot of the games at home this year, Marshall's ran off the big leads. Other teams came back. This one, Marshall got that big lead. They've kept their foot on the pedal and continue to play good basketball.
Crowd enjoying it here on this snowy Saturday evening in Huntington. Zane Mingo, Nate Martin finishes it off, and then Mingo penetrates. Fricks will throw it down. Marshall 69-54 over Georgia Southern.
Yeah, the thing is, people like Geico because it's just easy. Bundling, for example. You've got car insurance here and home insurance here. Why not? Zhup, put them together. Save even more. Some things are better together, aren't they? Like tea and crumpets. You wouldn't bundle just anything. Like, say, a porcupine in a balloon factory. No, that'd be a mess. For starters, porcupines are famously no good in a team setting.
Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance.
Asthma. Does it have you missing out on what you love with who you love? It's time to get back out there with Fasenra. Fasenra is an add-on treatment for eosinophilic asthma that is taken once every 8 weeks and can also be taken conveniently at home. Fasenra helps prevent asthma attacks. Most patients did not have an attack in the first year. Fasenra is proven to help you breathe better so you can get back to doing day-to-day activities. Fasenra is not for sudden breathing problems. Serious allergic reactions may occur. Get help for swelling of your face, mouth, tongue, or trouble breathing. Don't stop asthma treatments without talking with your doctor. Tell your doctor if your asthma worsens or you have a parasitic infection. Headache and sore throat may occur. Get back to better breathing. Get back to what you've missed. Ask your doctor about Fasenra, the only asthma treatment taken once every 8 weeks. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
This is a got up too fast from tying your shoes back injury. Lucky for you, Amazon One Medical can help. They're great for sneeze-related back injuries, too.
Spoons, they're out. Panera's new ciabatta dippers are in. Each melty sandwich paired with a perfect portion of soup is made to dip. Go for the French dipper or spicy chicken dipper. No spoon necessary when your sandwich is built to do the dipping. Only at Panera for a limited time.
And this is a big stretch for Marshall. You got 15-point lead, 8 minutes to go. Continue to play solid defense, play solid offense, and try to push this out. Otherwise, you could have like the Texas State game where this becomes a ball game all of a sudden, and you really don't want that.
If you are Charlie Henry, one guy you want to lean on is Nakavion White, and he puts it through there. He now has 18 in the game. Tied with Dawson for game-high honors right now. Dawson for Marshall with 18, and Dawson with the basketball. Goes to Fricks. Fricks is open, and Fricks scores. And if you are Cornelius Jackson, Corny certainly happy with the play of Fricks.
No, absolutely. He's giving you big minutes in, Obino's place. And you got to be happy with the offense. If you just work this ball around for 10, 15 seconds, Georgia Southern's going to give you a wide-open shot, wide-open layup. They're not playing any type of defense here tonight, so don't be in a rush. Don't force a bad one. The last 3 possessions, 2 dunks, 1 layup, so you just got to keep going doing that thing.
Well, Brown did a great job keeping that alive for Georgia Southern. Unfortunately, Adante Holloman not rewarded. And then on the other end, Dawson guns in another 3-pointer. He's got 5 in the game. Here's Banks off the glass, and it wouldn't go. Mingo on the run. Marshall has numbers, and Mingo misfires in the direction of Jalen Spear. Yeah, biggest lead of the game. Marshall 74-56. How about the 3-pointers out for Marshall?
Yeah, it's been a barrage, and Marshall with an 18-point lead here at the Henderson Center.
Spoons, they're out. Panera's new ciabatta dippers are in. Each melty sandwich paired with a perfect portion of soup is made to dip. Go for the French dipper or spicy chicken dipper. No spoon necessary when your sandwich is built to do the dipping. Only at Panera for a limited time.
Gatorade, the world's most superior sports drink. Designed to rehydrate, replenish, and refuel. It fuels the best because it is the best. Gatorade, is it in you?
What do you got there, Larry? Time machine? You gonna go back and see how the pyramids were built or something? Nope. Ellen and I want to go on vacation, so I'm gonna go back to last week and buy a winning lottery ticket. Can I come? Only room for 1.
How am I getting home?
Sitting on my lap like last time, Ronald.
Fine, but I'm bringing this.
All right.
Or you could try one of these savings options.
The right money moves aren't as far-fetched as you think.
There it is. See? Told you it's gonna all work out. Thanks, future me.
For people who feel limited by the unpredictability of generalized myasthenia gravis, season to season, Ultomiris is continuous symptom control with improvement in activities of daily living and reduced muscle weakness. And Ultomiris is the only long-acting GMG treatment with the freedom of just 6 to 7 infusions per year for a predictable routine I can count on.
Ultomiris may lower your immune system's ability to fight infections, increasing your chance of serious meningococcal and other infections, which may become life-threatening or fatal. Complete or update meningococcal vaccines at least 2 weeks before you start. If treatment is urgent and you're not vaccinated, you should receive antibiotics with your vaccines. Don't start if you have a meningococcal infection. Infusion reactions may include back, belly, limb, or chest pain, muscle spasms, blood pressure changes, tiredness, shaking chills, bad taste, breathing problems, or face, tongue, or throat swelling. Ultomiris is continuous symptom control. Ask your neurologist about starting Ultomiris.
Well, the Georgia Southern Eagles trying to figure things out here, trailing 74-56, 6:29 to go in the basketball game. In at 8-8. And 1-3 in Sunbelt play. Mount Coastal and Old Dominion is still to come on the road, and then they'll be with Coastal and Marshall at home, and then Troy will be entertaining the Eagles to round out the month of January. You start looking at those schedules, it's like about January 30th already.
Yeah, and not only are we getting late in the year, but in Sunbelt play, there's no easy wins. You start looking at these schedules, you're like, oh, that's going to be tough. No matter who you get, it's going to be tough. So, Georgia Southern, it doesn't get any easier as you leave here. So maybe, try to play a good last 6 minutes and try to build something for next game.
This is a team that twice this season Scored 55 in the second half, and they need points in bunches right now to claw back into this one. Foul going to be called on Wyatt Fricks, who has picked up his third.
And just a little too physical there on the drive. Tried to nudge him out using his legs. Just got to keep your hands up, play solid defense. He was in good position. Just got a little, overzealous.
Here is Brown. His shot won't go. Tyson Brown couldn't get it to fall. In a 14 rebound effort in that overtime loss to Georgia State on Thursday. Most in the Henry era for rebounds in a game. Here is Spear looking to light it up. Can't get that one to go down. Boy, we had a good angle of that. That looked good.
Yeah, everything he's shot lately has looked good, and that was no exception. Unfortunately for him, it didn't fall, but it was right on line.
Dante Horn driving in. He will be fouled. Fricks now picks up his fourth foul.
And you'll see here, Wyatt did a good job going straight up. That last little swipe of the arm, just go straight up, leave your hands up, make Horn try to make a tough finish, around you. That little extra swipe, little body, little contact, got him the foul, and going to get Horn 2 free throws.
Cade Gibbs is up off the bench and will come in for Fricks. Fricks took a shot there in the face. Here's Horn at the free throw line. Horn now with 4 in the game. First trip to the free throw line. 55% free throw shooter. Banks is out. White is in. Douglas out there. Horn, Crawford, and Tyson Brown for the Georgia Southern Eagles. Marshall, meanwhile, works with Dezane Mingo, who has the basketball. Nate Martin, Jalen Spear, Cade Gibbs, and Michael Dawson. Dawson looking for another three. That one off target there, and going for the missed shot. And foul is going to be called.
Excellent job right there by Cade Gibbs on the offensive glass, forcing the foul. Had inside position, got pushed in the back. As a result, doing his work early, got a good position, kept it, was able to get fouled. Now he's going to get a second chance for a second point here. Just, we mentioned this early in the game. If you win the energy stats, offensive rebound and block, steals, you won this game. And Marshall's won all 3 of those stats so far here today.
Up and in for Gibbs. Gibbs now with 4 in the contest. 76-58. Douglas driving against Spear. Nice job by Douglas. Douglas's first field goal here of this second half. He has 14 in the game. Zane Mingo guarded there tightly by Douglas, and now here's Spear trying to get it to Nate Martin and taken away there by Aaron Banks, and up with the shot won't go for White, and a whistle and a foul. White, big body, 6'7", 220 junior. He moves pretty well.
Yeah, he's knocked down a couple 3 balls. He's got to the rim, played some bully ball. Nice looking player for Georgia Southern. He's leading the way with 18 here for Georgia Southern tonight, and he's got a chance to add to that total.
He certainly shown why he was a 2-time junior college All-American, and up and knocks it through. 19 in the game now for the Odessa, Texas native, and he will put both through. now 6 of 10 at the line, 76-62. Dawson guarded there by Brawford, and it will stay Marshall's basketball.
And if you're Marshall, you want to finish this game cleanly. You know, I talked a minute ago about Georgia Southern building some momentum going into the next game. If you're Marshall, you're getting ready to go out on the road. You want to play the last 4 minutes good here. Make sure everybody's feeling good, build some confidence, and see if you can't go get your first road win.
Spear doubled up there, and Spear lets it go from nearly half court. Well, that's what you were trying before the game. That was your distance before the game.
And it looked just about like that one, Mark. I think I got about just as close as Jalen did.
Spear's not wearing a suit, though. You were wearing a suit. All right, timeout here as we go under 4 to play. Marshall on top of Georgia Southern, 76-62. We will return to the Cam Henderson Center. You're watching live coverage of Sun Belt Conference men's basketball on ESPN+.
Phillips Norelco OneBlade presents The Dilemma. Trim, edge, or shave above and below the belt with Phillips Norelco OneBlade. Your style made simple with Phillips Norelco OneBlade 360.
The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
It's League One volleyball. 6 teams, 6 cities, set it off.
Atlanta, Austin, Houston, Madison, Omaha, Salt Lake.
Exclusively on ESPN and ESPN+.
The Australian Open hits different on the networks of ESPN.
This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. Whoa! This is star power from the jump.
The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster.
I take the first shot, you keep it coming. We know a lot about turning nothing to something.
He is must-see television every time he puts that uniform on.
College basketball, it never disappoints.
How fun is this?
The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
Home of the Marshall University Thundering Herd, the Cam Henderson Center. Marshall on top of Georgia Southern, 76-62. Marshall wrapping up this 4-game homestand. Unfortunately, the students are now coming back to campus, but they will not see the Herd here inside this venue until January 30th. So there's what awaits Corny Jackson's crew.
And, you know, that's probably a good stretch of games to have on the road. You know, outside of James Madison, you know, that's the lower half of the league. But the problem for Corny's crew is you haven't won yet on the road. So eventually you got to break the ice. So that's a good stretch to, you know, try to get that done.
And they'll have the Dukes of JMU waiting on them in Harrisonburg on Thursday night. What a game it was here Thursday evening. Marshall hangs on and wins it 80-78. Kate Gibbs hit those free throws, and guarding White there from the outside. Brawford can't get it to go. Nice rebound by Horn. Horn to Banks. Banks driving, kicking it into the corner to Douglas. And now here's Banks. He'll let it fly, and Banks knocks it down.
And that's a good possession there by Georgia Southern. Attacked multiple closeouts, worked it around, got an offensive rebound, and then worked it around again until you got a wide open looks. And unfortunately for them, they're able to knock it in.
Banks with 7 points in the game. It's his 25th three-pointer of the season. Michael Dawson feeds Nate Martin. Kick it to Spear, who is looking for a 3. Can't get it to go, but Martin gets the rebound. White got a piece of that one, and ahead they go to Douglas. White fires, can't get it to drop.
And if you're Marshall, just run some clock. You don't need a quick one. Run some clock, get a good one late, and, you know, try to get out of here. It's only an 11-point game. You don't want to, or you want to dunk it real quick and get everybody on their feet.
Oh my! The Zane Mingo. Mingo now with 17. Young man from Hamilton, Ontario. Here's Douglas. His shot won't drop. Brofford is there on the miss, and then there's going to be a foul called, and looks like they got Douglas with it.
Yeah, I think it was just a frustration foul. Missed the easy one I think he thinks he should have made. And you'll see here, Mingo came off that pick and roll, attacked the rim. You know, he don't care how much time's left. He sees the alley for a dunk, he's going to take it. Great move. And then you'll see here, this was talking about just frustration. He missed the easy one, went after the offensive rebound, got Nate Martin on the arm, and Nate's going to get 2 shots at the line.
Nate Martin with 15 in the game, 3 of 9 at the line. And Nate Martin puts it up, and he's also snagged 13 rebounds here tonight, so double-double. Great job by our crew here tonight. We have Bright, Logan Miller, Nick Herrick, Emma Gallus, Stephen Lucas, Ryan Vance, Holly Belmont, Anthony Doria. Making everything look good and sound good as Marshall and Georgia Southern battle for the 17th time. Nate Martin picks up the foul. Marshall leading the series 12-4. Georgia Southern getting winless coming in to this game at the Cam Henderson Center. To knock down a bunch of shots if they can break that drought. Here's Horn at the line. Corny Jackson. Longest winning streak thus far this season for Marshall been 2, and they've done that a few times, and trying to do it again here. And that tough loss last Saturday to Troy, bounced back with the big win against JMU on Thursday, who they will meet again. So now trying to ride out of here, winning 3 of 4 at home.
Yeah, you got to feel really good about that. And, you know, you can take some confidence. You blew the Troy game, but you had that game won. So you've shown you can compete with the higher, you know, the upper echelon of teams in both James Madison and Troy. So you got to feel good, you know, going on the road that you compete with anybody, and hopefully, you know, they can find a way to get it done on the road.
Gibbs driving there, couldn't get it to go. You know, JMU picked to finish 3rd in the league. Marshall 10th. Nice drive by White. White's been impressive here today.
No, he's shown the complete arsenal. Inside, outside, soft touch, bully ball. He's done just a little bit of everything for Georgia Southern. And, you know, if anybody would have came with them, they might have had a little bit better shot here tonight.
Game high scoring honors at the moment with 22. Dawson leads Marshall with 21. Georgia Southern was picked to, in that preseason poll, tied with Old Dominion at 8th. It was Arkansas State, JMU, Troy, Louisiana, Southern Miss, App State, Texas State, Georgia Southern, and Old Dominion in that 8th spot. Then it was Marshall, followed by South Alabama, Georgia State, Coastal, and ULM. And until today, South Alabama, who was picked to finish 11th, they were undefeated. They're losing a tough one today. So that puts Nate Martin at the line, and he's up. And he's got it. He has 18.
And he's made a few free throws in a row. He's got double-double. And hopefully this game right here, he's exercised some demons, because, you know, he was really struggling. But this is the Nate Martin that Marshall fans have come accustomed to seeing. And it's good to see him, you know, get off the schneid and, you know, back doing to what he does.
Preseason all Sun Belt Conference selection. Again, Marshall playing today without another one of their outstanding veterans in Obina. Anna Chili-Killen. Horn comes up short with that one.
And you mentioned it, with Obina being out, guys had to step up, and they sure did. You know, you lose Obina, who may be your most important piece, especially, you know, offensively and defensively. And, you know, you still find a way to get a conference win. These are tough to come by, so good to see everybody stepping up. Good to see the old Nate Martin, you know, Spears and Mingo and Dawson, you know, just a great team effort.
Many thanks to Tyler Gallo, sports information with Georgia Southern. And certainly the great crew here at Marshall with Cody Lynn, Grant Traylor. Shot won't go for Spear. Chris Davis, the director of athletics at Georgia Southern, and of course Christian Spears here at Marshall. Thundering Herd, 6.1 on the clock. Dawson, in it goes to Jalen Spear, and that will do it. Marshall victorious 81-69 over Georgia Southern. Marshall improves to 10-8, now 3-2 in Sunbelt play, and 10-2 inside the Cam Henderson Center. Georgia Southern dipping below 500 at 8-9, now 1-4 in the conference, 1-7 on the road. Next up for Marshall, a trip to Harrisonburg, Virginia. They'll face off with JMU, and Georgia Southern going to play at Coastal Carolina. Michael Dawson, 21 points. Nate Martin, 18. Dezane Mingo, 17 for Marshall. And McCavion Whitehead, 22 to lead all scorers. He paces the attack for Georgia Southern, 14 in the game for Bradley Douglas. But Marshall wins this one by a final of 81-69. Your thoughts on this one, Odd Elmore?
Great team win. You know, you had a good home stretch. If you'd have told Coach Jackson at the beginning, hey, you're going to win 3 or 4, I think he would have taken it. And you got some things to build on. You took Troy to the wire, who's a top upper echelon team. You beat James Madison, who was picked second. You got two other wins. So you got to be feeling good right now, and you got to try to, put a couple of good days of practice together before you head down to Harrisonburg and, see if you can't get your first road win.
Marshall ends up 50% from the field. Georgia Southern 45. Marshall knocked down 10 threes in the basketball game. And the Thundering Herd coming away victorious here against the Eagles from Statesboro, Georgia. So Marshall wins 3 of 4 in the homestand, and now they hit the road for 4 games. So for Ott Elmore, this is Mark Martin. We say so long for the Cam Henderson Center in Huntington, West Virginia. Your final, Marshall 81, Georgia Southern 69. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. Today's game has been a presentation of ESPN. We say so long from Huntington.